Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Categorically Romance podcast. My name is Bree, and today's episode is going to be a little different. It is a crossover episode. Some of you may know, some of you may not, but I also do podcasting with the Hallmarkies podcast. I am a huge made for TV romance made for screen fan, and I just love talking made for TV movies with my friends over there, and in particular my friend Rachel, who is the brilliant mastermind behind the Hallmarkies podcast. She and I, these past couple of holiday seasons, have had the amazing opportunity to chat with Crissie Miller. Now, Crissie is the Senior Director of Content Strategy and Planning with UpTV, which you guys, this has become my go-to network. I will always love me some Hallmark, but UpTV has been bringing it. Like, they are currently my favorite network to go to for romance made for TV. And this year they are having like kind of a less is more mentality, which I personally appreciate. I would much rather have like quality movies over just like dumping a bunch of movies where most of them get lost in the sauce because they're not really that good. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for this holiday season, and Crissie is just she's so wonderful. She's so easy to talk to. This network has like romance authors like Jennifer Snow writing scripts for them. So we have so much to look forward to. I'm excited to share it with you. If you are a made for TV fan, I hope you enjoy. If you just enjoy like holiday movies, I hope you enjoy the chat with someone that's behind the scenes of a network that I really, really love. All right, on with the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are very excited today. Merry Christmas to everyone who is listening. And we are talking about the UpTV slate coming up. And of course, we have with us, we have the head of programming. Is that your official title?
Senior Director of Content Strategy. My SVP is actually that technical head of programming.
Okay.
Boss lady.
Yeah, I bet I am. I am a boss lady for sure.
We have Crissie Miller here from UpTV. Again, we love talking with Crissie. I am filming Rachel Wagner, and Bree's here.
Hello, everybody.
And Crissie, thank you so much for coming on.
It's a pleasure. I look forward to this every year. It's so much fun talking to you guys. It's fun talking to people who love this as much as I do, honestly.
We could not have this whole countdown thing without you. So thank you for this.
Yes.
Anytime.
Well, for people who have missed previous years, and we'll put links and everything in the description, but why don't you, for the record, just like introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do there at Up.
Sure. So Crissie Miller, I am a Senior Director of Content Strategy. So that means my team and I get the very fun job of sourcing all of our content for our many networks and platforms and everything that we're doing. So that means we go out and we either acquire, or if we can't acquire it, then we make a great movie for everyone to see. And that includes, series, as well, that go on the linear network and on our SVOD service, Up Faith and Family. So, our team handles a lot of stuff, but it's a lot of really fun work. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And it's it's the dream job.
It really is.
I have a question for you. Yeah. I feel like, and we're seeing it more and more, like everybody's jumping on the made for TV movie train, and I think it just the whole romantic comedy thing, everybody's jumping on board. And Up, I mean, Rachel and I have talked about this countlessly throughout the year, but Up has really been nailing it and doing something really special. Is there any behind the scenes strategic secrets you can share? Are there certain things you guys are looking for if it is acquiring, or if you're bringing writers in? Tell us this, because some of our favorite movies from early 2023, end of 2022 have been, from the network. So what are y'all doing?
Well, and was there anything in particular different this year compared to previous years that you were looking for?
So we have been on this, we got back into movies. We used to be into movies when we were Gospel Music Channel, and then GMC, and then Up. We were into movies in a big way. We had a premiere a month was our big thing. We made all of them. And then we kind of moved away from that for a while. When we decided to get back into movies, we really wanted them to be the made for TV model romances, people love them, but we wanted ours to have a little bit of a different angle. We wanted them to have a little bit more substance, a little bit more heart than your normal made for TV romance. And I think that there is a place for those. We have lots of them on the network. We have lots of it's a blue sky, beautiful. She owns a bakery. He's a curmudgeon. They fall in love by the end. I love those. They're wonderful. But we really like to look for those that have more of a multi-generational family angle. You know, Heartland's been on our network for years and years and years, and the fans are always adamant about that show. They love the show, and I think it has a widespread popularity for a reason. And one of the reasons is that you're getting a look at the entire family unit. You're getting to see everyone. You get a great romance. You get such good love stories. You get drama. You get comedy. And I think that unless you have a lot of those layers, then you miss a lot of those opportunities to tell those kinds of stories, you know? So we have, when we first started, you know, we were acquiring what we could to get the movie strategy up and running. And then when we started getting back into making them, we started to look for those stories that do have those more familial angles and ways to tell the things that have just a little bit more heart, but always a happy ending. I love a happily ever after.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really did have a great stretch. I mean, this year, Mixed Baggage, one of the greats. I'm not kidding.
We love that movie.
It was one of the best TV movies I've covered in all the years I've been doing this. I thought it was absolutely outstanding.
It's a good one. It's a really, really good one. And I really can't take credit for that one at all. That one was done with our LA partners, but we have two Christmas ones coming from that same production company this year. So I think that you're going to love them just as much because they're just as charming and well done and beautifully done. Just, absolutely gorgeous movies.
Yeah, I would listen to them. They know what they're doing.
They do.
And I think
the movie was great.
I think when we finished, we were like researching, and it was the writers, like it was the only thing we could find that she'd written.
Yeah,
so we were like,
it was her first movie, Ali Calamari.
That's crazy. So funny. I mean, you just never know what people the little talents they're hiding back there.
Yeah.
And I loved that one was set in like a city. It just went to show that even if you live in a city, the city can still feel like small town community. I mean,
that's a good point.
It had the same vibes. So I just loved seeing that representation because I feel like we don't see that a lot in Christmas movies or just made for TV in general.
Well, the whole movie within a movie was so well done.
Yeah.
And I just every single relationship, it was absolutely outstanding.
It's perfect.
And, it was great.
I love it.
Yeah. And then of course the Wedding Wish. I think that we would say that was our second favorite.
Yeah, that one's so sweet. Is that the sweetest movie? I watched really that one. And I loved it.
Hilarious.
It was hilarious. Like I love the premise. She's like, "Oh, I have to get married."
Well, it captured that like screwball comedy of like the 40s and 50s. You know, the idea of having a wedding, because normally I hate wedding movies, but this was fresh because there's no groom.
She's
just talking about it.
I don't even need a groom, you guys. I'm just gonna get married. Like that appealed to me as well. I was like, oh, this is hilarious and different. And like if you're gonna do the genre, let's find new ways to do the genre because there's so many different ways that haven't been explored. It's so good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. And then I really enjoyed Happy Camper. I really enjoyed Just Jake.
Yeah.
Those are both excellent.
Lovely movies and good cast in those. And, you know, music being a part of our DNA, it's been really important to us to try to do more music in our movies this year. And Just Jake does that. Country Hearts does that really well. That one is got music weaved all through it. So I'm really excited for everybody to enjoy that one as much as I do.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's fun. I mean, because it's just a cool thing when you put on something like Mixed Baggage and you're just like, okay, you know, I'm gonna watch this movie, and then you're like, what? That was so good. It's so cool. Like you, as a film critic, you live for that. It's so fun.
it is fun to get those moments. Like I do that just watching TV by myself, and I'm like, who does this? Who comes up? Who's just sit down and think of these things and then manages to get them out and then manages to put them on film? It's always astounding to me.
Yeah.
Which means I'm in the right industry. If TV gets me that excited, and you guys do, like if you're that excited about a TV movie, you're doing the right job.
We had a lot that just didn't have, there were no dull moments, I feel like, with the lineup that we have this year. And that's why I'm really excited for the Christmas movies, because it's like, it's Christmas. Let's round out the year on a high note. But another like behind the scenes strategic question I have, if you can share, I guess I feel like these movies are, I tell everybody, like, if you're new to the world of made for TV movies, I feel like Up is where I tell people to start with, because they feel like I'm 36. These movies feel like grounded in like my age group, a little bit younger, a little bit older. Like they're not intimidating. Like it's not intimidating. It feels like I could live here. I could be friends with these people. So is there anything, like, are y'all kind of aware of that? Like, do y'all have a specific demographic, like age wise, or anything that you think of when you're writing the movies, acquiring the movies? Because it does feel like you are looking out for people like me, people like Rachel, like people our age.
No, I'm that's amazing you picked up on that. Yes, we do strategically look for stories that are going to appeal to a mid-30s audience. Absolutely.
Awesome.
And we also we want them to be realistic but still delivering on that fantasy, like it's not like everybody lives in this Christmas town in the Midwest, and again, it's lovely and I love it. Who doesn't want to like be dumped in the middle of that? But we love for our stories to have a more realistic vibe to them, but still giving you like, okay, but like, it's your hot best friend who is home from the military, and why wouldn't you fall in love with that guy?
Yeah,
sure. But we definitely want it to appeal to women in their 30s and older. Like I'm in my late 40s, so I love a good romance like that as well. I happily married, but I love the idea of reading these romances or watching these romances where you get wish fulfillment at the end of it. But it feels like it could happen to you.
Yes, exactly.
The other thing that I was curious about, and this is some behind the scenes to our listeners. So last year, I gave a presentation after the Christmas season, or I guess this year technically, but after the Christmas season, to both you and Lifetime, about one of the things I mentioned was leaning into the swoon-worthy guys.
100%.
And I feel like you all listened. I mean, we got Franco, we've got Andrew Bushout, we've got Markian.
Markian, oh my word. It's so funny because Rachel, you absolutely hit on something that I had been preaching. You were like, you have to do this, and this is important, and this is what we want. And I was like, yeah, I know. Yes. So that absolutely helped drive this idea home that the swoon-worthy moments are where it's at, man. Like that's what we want out of these things. It's, I want a hot man who is absolutely 100% so in love with her that he cannot do anything else. And I want those, I try to put them in as, I call them Darcy Handflex moments.
Yes.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
I need a hand flex. I need that moment where you as a viewer go, oh,
yes,
he loves her. Like,
yes.
Oh my gosh, he loves her. But also those moments where you're like, I didn't know he was that hot. Like,
yes.
Well, see, Brie and I are both big fans of romance novels, and and sometimes I felt like, particularly with Hallmark, they were almost a little bit embarrassed to like lean into those tropes that we love in romance novels. It's like, oh, we have to make it a little bit serious, so they're not going to take us like or we're not going to be like a real movie, making place. And I say, no, lean in.
Lean into it. Like
Lean
even just
in,
hearing Crissie describe it, my mind immediately went to the Franco and Catherine movie.
Yes.
And I'm like, that scene where you can just, he's like staring at her and she's like totally blowing him off. And you can just feel like his heart is breaking. But the way he's gazing at her, like he's explaining it. And I'm like, yep, that immediately your mind goes to scenes where it's like, you nailed it. You nailed it in this scene.
That's exactly what we want. No, I am a big romance novel reader myself. And a woman on my team is also a big romance novel reader. So when we're reading scripts and we're watching these movies, or we get a rough cut in, and she'll text me, she's like, when I tell you I gasped. I'm like, okay, we've hit the nail on the head with that one. She's like, I audibly gasped when he pulled out that ring. I was like, right, son? So good. So we are fans of the genre, we're fans of books, we're fans of the movies, and we are really wanting to deliver those moments, those gasp worthy moments. Like even when we're casting and we're looking at the cast, like one that comes to mind is in Country Hearts. We were casting the role of Barrett, who's Lainey's not Lainey's the actress, Tori's longtime boyfriend who comes back into town. We're watching this scene with him, and he absolutely, Brenton Morgan, he kind of takes a step towards the camera, like, does he make you feel like this? And Sasha and I were like, okay, well, he's in. Honestly, and he's so beautiful, and his eyes are doing it for me. You're like, yeah, no notes. Do this all the time, sir. This is great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Swoon.
Well, so this year you ended up with 8 fiction. You have the concert as well, but 8 films. And so I was curious. I mean, I know that all of the studios were affected by the strike and everything, and but all the networks, I should say. But was that something you were kind of thinking about anyway, of sort of cutting back in quality versus quantity kind of approach?
Yes, absolutely. We were lucky enough that we got a lot of our stuff was well underway and in post before the strikes even happened. So the move to pull back on the number of movies was absolutely a strategic decision. We really had double the amount last year, and I think a lot of them got lost in the mix. And I know that having more is great, and it's a great number, and it's really flashy. But we really wanted
to Crissie, no. It's too much. I'm sorry.
We're grateful. Thank you.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You can't get through all of them. Like if you have 25 movies on one single network, that's a ton. So we really wanted to focus on the stories we wanted to tell, the movies that really made an impact on us, and the ones that we thought were fun, like a good mix of fun and flirty and really important, and just a kind of a magical season. So we really wanted to scale back and put the focus on one movie a week.
Yeah.
Well, and what I'm hoping is that with less new ones, maybe it'll give people a chance to catch up on ones they might have missed that were so good, like Santa's Got Style, Christmas on Fifth Avenue, some of my favorites.
Santa's Got Style. Don't worry, I'm airing it a lot.
Yes. It's so good.
It cracks me up so much. The scene of him walking slow-mo.
Yes.
Or kills me every time. It's so good. It's so well done. So yes, I think that's a very good point. I think people will get to sample the things that got lost in the mix last year, or they didn't get to see, and then if they don't get to the movie on premiere night, there's tons of other chances because we just have them all over the schedule.
Yeah,
I think less is more is so special. I think less is more is it just makes him so much more special and doable. Like now that I'm working full time again, I'm like, oh man, like I'm just so grateful. I'm like, you can commit to 8.
Yeah. 8 is a doable number. That's one a week. You're fine.
Yeah, that's my treat. Like I'm with 6th graders all day. I'm watching my UpTV this weekend. Like I'm good. Yeah,
I love it.
Thank you.
Well, let's dive in. Let's talk about the movies. So the first one, We're Scrooged is on the 5th. Tamar Durate and Andrew Bushell, our fave. We love him
So cute.
so much.
So adorable, right?
Yes. And Amy Force, who directed Santa's Got Style. Amazing. And Christmas on Fifth Avenue. So we need to have her on the podcast. She's amazing.
Get Amy.
Yeah.
And then,
she's lovely.
writer Jennifer Snow, who we will hear from a number of times.
It will be a repeated name in this podcast, Jennifer Snow.
And it's crazy to me, like she basically self-taught herself.
She's unbelievable.
How to do all of this. It's amazing. So
it is incredible.
So tell us a little bit about this one. What's your favorite thing about it?
I loved the premise. We've seen A Christmas Carol. You've seen it a million times. That you've seen Muppets, you've seen Mickey, you've seen Bill Murray, you've seen all these ways A Christmas Carol is done, and they usually take it the same way. And this is a couple getting the Christmas Carol treatment. So instead of just him, he or her, one of them being the curmudgeon that is visited, they're visited together. And it's about the missteps they took, and that's where they got them. And I loved that premise. I thought that was so clever. It really gives you an idea about people who grew up together and then grew apart, and then realized that maybe they made a mistake, but they're not sure where the mistake happened, where the misstep, where the miscommunication. A miscommunication trope is not always my favorite, because I think it doesn't. Sometimes you're just like, you're adults, why don't you just talk to each other?
Yeah.
But this is really handled well. You can see where the breakdowns happen. You can see where it went a little bit wrong for them. So I that's one of the things I loved about this one.
Mm-hmm.
Really cute. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very clever. And it was clever the way that you integrated the ghosts, to have one be like this AI kind of creation was I thought funny.
Yeah, when they brought us the idea of the Ghost of Christmas Present being like a little AI, almost like a little chat bot that's becomes like a little movable robot-y spirit, I was like, oh, I'm gonna need to see that to see how it goes. But I love the way it turned out, and I think it turned out. I loved that the Ghost of Christmas Past is their school counselor. Love that. And then this little bot being the present, because it's so entrenched in everything you see now. It's such a major part of what we're seeing, in our culture, is how AI is being used. And I think it's interesting the way they managed it. My favorite thing though is how they handle the Ghost of Christmas Future. Love it. Okay. it's really fun. It's different, and it's really well done, and I thought it had so much impact. I loved it.
Yeah, it was very, very clever, and must have been super fun for Andrew in particular.
Right. It's almost like he gets to be deliciously evil.
Yes. Literally.
Right. Seriously, he's a good looking man.
Yes, I love him so much. He's so charming.
He has that little dimple. He's just so sweet. Oh gosh. Oh, love it.
I was so happy for him to get a lead. He has had leads, but to get another lead, I guess. And because he's in a Hallmark movie this season, but he's in a supporting. So I was really happy to see him get not only the lead, but in the first movie. So that's exciting, because he's great.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah. And I agree. Because sometimes these stories where it's like, I let you. I didn't want you to give up, whatever for me. And I sometimes I'm just like, that's her choice to make. You don't make that decision for her. And I liked in this movie, he totally calls her out. I mean, she totally calls him out on that. She's like, that was my choice. That was my choice to make. Yeah. And I'm like, that's right.
Yeah, like a true UpTV heroine. That's what I'm saying, people. That's what I'm saying.
A girl boss in there. It's like, I can like a good looking man and still be a feminist.
Yes.
I have a, girl boss moment. Absolutely.
I feel like I need that framed on my wall. I can still. like a good looking guy and be a feminist.
If I could cross stitch, I would make it for you.
Yeah.
So on the 12th of November, we have another Jennifer Snow written movie. This is directed by Marco DeFemia, Paula Tiberius. And it's Christmas time capsule. And it sounds like it's friends to lovers. It sounds like time definitely plays a factor in it and like sets the stakes really high. Tell us like your favorite moment, what we should look forward to with this one.
Well, and this is so sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go
but
ahead.
this is so exciting because it's Franco and Franco Crissie and Emily Al-Tablo, and the movie happens the day after their real wedding.
Yeah,
I know.
It's so exciting. Yeah.
So this one, it's friends to lovers definitely, and I love Franco. I love Franco, and I do adore Emily as well. She's so charming and so sweet, and you just love her immediately. They met on the set of one of our Christmas movies years ago, Christmas Catch, and which also had Andrew Bichelle in it, and then got engaged last year. And then I was like, yeah, time capsule. Let's put them in there.
That's amazing.
I mean, their chemistry is so real. It's so good. Like it comes off the screen so well. But this one, she kind of reviews all these products for a website, and he's in the military. They were childhood best friends. Her family kind of raised him, and he comes home, kind of surprises her right before her road trip back to see her parents, because she's got this whole like, I'm going to take days to drive back to my family's. I'm going to stop at all these Christmas attractions. And he shows up and he's like, remember my grandmother's wedding ring that I gave you to hold for me? And she's like, oh my gosh, is this the time? And he's like, I'm going to propose to someone else and I need it. And she's like, oh no. so he like muscles in quite literally on her road trip to go see her parents, cuts it like down. He only allows her a couple of stops, and one of them is a Christmas sci-fi festival, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen like, it's just so goofy and funny, but I was like, please leave this in because
yes, so please. The viewers need to see.
But I was a little bit worried, to be honest, about the idea of him wanting to propose to someone else.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry of this.
Yeah.
Emotional cheating.
Sure. How are you going to make this work? And it's really done well. I did not feel like either one, because they do the friendship thing so well. They fight, they bicker, they're like, we definitely grew up together and know each other's the things that make each other crazy about each other. But also she's clearly has been crushing on him for a while. There's a great scene where they have to share a hotel. Of course, it's not a shared bed. He puts up this privacy sheet. It's really cute.
Oh, cute.
And she has like flannel pajamas. But she does wake up to him doing push-ups shirtless.
Oh.
That's a treat. That's a Christmas treat for everyone.
Yeah. There's your candy cane, people.
Right? So you get these little glimpses of how much like she has always loved him, but not from him. He's very much invested in this new girl, but she starts to just ask him questions, and it becomes clear that he likes the idea of her more than he actually loves her. So it's really handled like I said, it's handled really well. And you meet her, and she's not an evil person. She's not like I'm only out for your money kind of like evil fiance like you usually see. She's a sweet, lovely person. They just don't belong together, and it's really like I said, it's really well done. I was nervous, but
this sounds like, because there's one of my favorite all-time Hallmark movies is called Country Wedding, and that's kind of a similar plot. And it normally doesn't work, but it works so well in that one. And this sounds really good. And I think what makes Franco so great, and there's many things, but he is obviously so handsome, but he's also like kind of shy and quiet. And like, remember when we were or I guess it was Anne actually who was interviewed, but he's so like humble and sweet and kind. And I think that just makes him so attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that combined
Yes.
package, you know?
And he's a
This-
romance novel cover model.
I mean, just so darn attractive. But he also can do the comedy thing so
Yeah.
well. He's
That's true.
you know, yeah, he's a full package, but he is so humble and sweet and kind and generous. I got to meet him on the set of Santa's Got Style last year, and he was just so lovely. Like,
Yeah.
it's like just so nice.
Like you expect somebody that handsome to be a little cocky, a little bit,
Right.
he's not. Like,
No. Not at
so
all.
sweet.
He's so sweet. So sweet.
Yeah.
We love you, Franco, if you ever hear this, okay?
Franco, if you're out there.
We're fans.
Yeah. So, all right. So next we have Country Hearts Christmas, this on 19th. Chris Jericho, Lainey McCauley, and Katrina Maria. Director Amy Force, again, killing it. And then writer Jennifer Snow. And I actually haven't gotten to watch the Country Hearts yet. So
Okay.
I probably should have before this. But
Okay.
I guess for people that haven't watched it like myself, what is that one about? And then what does this one kind of add to it?
So this one, so Country Hearts is about a family of musicians. Basically, Chris Jericho plays our patriarch of the family, Bones. He's an ex-rock star, like in a big, like heavy metal band. Like, I love this. He was Bones also.
He's so handsome on the poster. So
Right?
handsome.
He looks great. A generous guy too, so lovely. But he's the patriarch of the family. He's left his rock star career behind. He married a country queen, and she is still performing. But he's decided that he wants to open up a horse breeding business on a farm. So they live on a farm. He's trying to get this business off the ground, but his daughters, Tori and June, are the Jameson sisters, and they're trying to get their music career up and going. Tori is driven. She really wants this music career. June is married and a little bit more like, I don't know if I should leave my husband. And, so there's some fun family dynamics going on there. And then, of course, Tori's boyfriend moves back to town, or ex-boyfriend moves back to town at the same time that they're getting this big break in their music career. And, there's a lot of fun kind of love triangle setup that's happening. But, and I hope nobody's mad at me about this. We don't really resolve it. I know. It really kind of leaves you open-ended a little, but I don't think it's unsatisfying, because you're really rooting for her to follow her dream and whatever that means. And then, of course, she's got the longtime best friend played by David Pennard, who's like, he's like in love with her, and she's like, she's friend-zoned him, like, in a big way. And then this new ranch hand played by Craig Strickland, who's relatively new on the scene. But oh my, so delightful. Kind of a broody, quiet, cowboyish character, but can sing. Oh my, there's a little snippet of him singing a song you wrote in the movie that will I think everybody will enjoy. So Hearts ends with Tori and June in their band headed to Nashville to start recording. Country Hearts Christmas opens up with them recording a new Christmas song. And they're about to get a big break on a Christmas Eve show. The problem is they've promised their dad, Bones, that they're going to come home for Christmas. That's his one thing. He's like, you have to come home for Christmas. I want everybody home for Christmas. So they have to, like, I don't know what we do. How do we manage this? And of course, there's her ex-boyfriend and this hot ranch hand. So there's lots of fun plot points going on, really. But it's so Christmassy, so lovely. It really does continue the story that we set up in the first Country Hearts beautifully. I love it so much. And Chris has been he's been such a dream to work with. He's been so generous for this time. I think a lot of people are like, but he's a wrestler, right? like he body slams people for a living.
He's the patriarch of this family in this movie, okay?
Yeah.
I know. But he's like, he's a dad in real life, and he I I'm a big wrestling fan. Like we watch it a lot in our house. We just do. And my husband's been watching Chris Jericho since the 90s. He's like, you got Chris Jericho? Like he's so excited about it.
Yeah.
But
That was me when I saw him. I was like, oh gosh. This is
right. Right. It's so funny to watch. So I was watching, like, I got to go up and be on set during the filming of Country Arts Christmas and meet Chris and, talk to him, and I've gotten to interview him. And it's so funny to come home and watch AEW and see like this other like Chris Jericho, spiky leather jacket, and but he really leans into this patriarch character and the idea that he's this father who's supporting his family and emotionally supporting his family. Like, you have to follow your dreams, but you also have to know that this is hard. He's giving them like these great life lessons, making sure they understand what they're getting into, but also really supporting them along the way. So I think people are going to like it. It's different. It's different, but the same. Like, you're getting all the things you love, but you're also getting much more of a family dynamic.
Wow.
Was that trying to kind of tap into a Heartland kind of community a little bit and give them something? Yeah.
It actually came out of a conversation with the producer, and I was like, I need something like this. And she was like, about. And we've been talking for years about putting wrestlers in our movies because I think they're natural actors. I mean, look at The Rock, look at freaking John Cena. Like, they know how to turn a plot on a dime, and it's I was like, this seems like the most natural thing in the world, and I think it's turned out really well.
Wow, that is so smart. Yeah.
It's so fun. I don't want anybody else out there trying to poach my wrestlers, though.
Jericho's ours, okay?
Jericho is ours.
Well, on the 26th, we have Mistletoe Connection, which is directed by David L. Strasser, and it's written by Diana Ippolito and Marie D. Jones, and stars Jessica Sybos and Markian Tarasuk. And it follows a shop owner, and it sounds like she has like a special moment with somebody on a bus, and then there's these developers moving in. And one thing Rachel and I have talked about a lot is like, we love when the networks kind of stick with the tried and true, like give us those one or two tried and true Christmas storylines. And that's what this one kind of sounds like. And we've been having so much fun with those. So like, what should we be looking forward to with this one?
Especially when you have a moment of connection with two people dressed as elves.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Jazz it up a little.
What do you want in life? Not much.
I think it's super important to provide the variety. Like, you don't just get one thing. You still need those ones that you're like, I just need like the thing that I love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is so that true. Movie. Yeah. She's like a Christmas loving, elf costume wearing small business owner, and he like sees her on a bus and is like, she's the most charming creature I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's like insta love for both of them. And then you find out he starts trying to find her, tracks her down, and they find out that he works for the company that's trying to come in and buy up all the shops on her street and turn them into something different. It's her family store. It's been in her family for generations, and she's just not ready to let go. So, as much as she is attracted to him and wants to know more, and he loves Christmas as much as she does, which I also love. I love it when he's like, no, I'm not a bad guy. I really do love Christmas. So he, he really wants to help her, and he really wants to make everybody happy. He's trying to problem solve the whole time, which it's really lovely. And they have such great chemistry. Really good connection. She's so charming. He's so charming. And I really wanted to put this one right after Black Friday on Small Business Weekend, because she does own a small business, and it really is putting a focus on small businesses and how we can help them, support them by shopping, on that Small Business Saturday. So I really like the idea of this with that theme airing around that time, just to remind people, go out and buy those like artisanal soaps for somebody's stocking.
Order a cute Christmas sweater from Etsy.
Right. Go to your local bookstore instead of Barnes and Noble and get that romance novel.
And Markian is born to be in these movies. Oh,
my stars.
Love him so much.
I mean, He is just,
Yeah.
so charming, so attractive, so delightful. Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful.
All right. On the third, you have Yuletide the Knot, and it stars Mary Antonini and Peter Porte, who, oh my gosh, Peter Porte, give me a break.
Talk about swoon worthy. My
Oh my
goodness.
gosh.
Talk about a cozy Christmas sock.
Yeah. And Melissa Peterman, director Nania Mayada, writers Daniel Mahler Landman and Nania Mayada. And when a small town, oh wait, I need to read it. But so this one sounds really fun because we have this. So she's planning this big wedding. The manager of the celebrity or whatever she's planning the wedding for is her high school sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds, I'm a fan, because normally wedding movies I'm like, I don't know. But this one, I suppose it's about the planner, and they have this back history. I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's such a sweet movie. Yeah, it has the fun parts. She's the wedding planner. She works with her sisters. They all have this business together, and each handles a part of the business. Yeah. And then of course he rolls back into town, and it's like, oh, you look great in an overcoat, sir.
I don't know how you let Peter Porte go, but
I mean, right? He comes in the first scene, he's wearing this like beautiful overcoat, and I was like, why? But the other thing that I really love about this movie, the romance is great. But the other thing I love is that she and her sisters were adopted into this family. So she has this great family that's been pushed together, but there's so much love. There's so much love in this family. Their mother has died some time ago, and she's really working to move forward with that because she loved her mother so much. Her dad has started dating someone else. It's been a long time, like it's been years. You don't have to worry about it. It's not like 2 months. But there's a lot of the family dynamics of her working through some stuff while learning to heal and figuring out that she needs to move on while being faced with her extraordinarily attractive high school boyfriend who's back in town now. So it's got a lot to it. They and everybody's so charming. The title alone is worth the price of admission. It's like Yuletide the Knot is so good. And Melissa Peterman, hilarious. Like she plays the owner of this wedding dress shop, and she's so darn funny. Like you would expect Melissa Peterman. He's giving you everything, and it's wonderful. I love it. Yeah, it's a good one though.
Well, on the 10th, we have Christmas at the Amish Bakery, which stars Alexandra Harris and Sean Coding. It's directed by Jeff Hare and has writers Scott Kirkpatrick, and it's another Jennifer Snow. And Jennifer Snow. I love a bookish person in movies, and so this is a book editor, and she's looking for a cookbook to help save her job. And I don't know, there's something about cookbooks that are like really cozy. So I'm really excited about this one. So like, what are you excited for us to see?
Yeah, this one, this one again was like, we love an Amish story, and our audience really loves Amish stories. And I think that's that fish out of water thing, and then getting a glimpse into a culture that not a lot of us get to see a lot. So there's always this fascination around the Amish. We won't talk about Lifetime recent like Amish stud movie.
But Up has had a pretty good track record with the Amish movies, The Runaway Romance and Guest at an Amish Wedding. Both those were excellent, and so it's a pretty good run. It's we love having the Amish feel, and this one she's a cookbook editor. And her boss is like, listen, cookbook sales are down. You have to find me something interesting and new. And she finds out that she's Amish and grew up Amish, but she did not. So this is interesting because it comes out in the movie. She did not return home from her Rumspringa, which is when you're Amish, you can go off and try to, find yourself. And then you come back and decide if you want to stay within the Amish faith and stay within the community. And she decided not to. She decided to go to college and follow her dream that way. So she comes back to visit her family farm because her boss is like, Amish have great baked goods. We can make a great cookbook out of this. So she's coming back to maybe convince her family to help her make a cookbook out of Amish
treats, and she there's a man and his daughter there who've suffered a tragedy in the last year, and he's, you know, super cute. And
Of course.
she's like, who is this Englisher who's just like hanging out on the Amish farm? And they're like, oh, he's just here healing. And but you get his fish out of water. He's trying to be a handyman, but he is not a handyman at all. Which is a cute little, I think a cute little twist, because he's like trying to nail up a sign, but he does it upside down.
Oh no. Oh no.
He finds out that he is actually the illustrator for children's books that that are super popular, and they work together to make this beautiful little hand-drawn Amish cookbook. And it's there's some miscommunication, there's some things that happen. We have third act drama, but it's again, it's a sweet movie. And I think Sean Coding, who's relatively new, he's so charming. He has he's just the sweetest smile and the sweetest face, and I think he brings a lot of charm in that. Like, I'm an artist, not a wood chopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I grew up in Maryland, and so we would go up to Pennsylvania Dutch every now and then, and they do have delicious food up there, like shoe fly pie and stuff
Their
like
cinnamon
that.
rolls. Did
Oh
you
my
have their
gosh. Yeah.
Oh, so good. Yeah. Yeah, I was out in Indiana in Amish country last year. We were filming a big Amish musical out there, and and all the baked goods, just ridiculous. But it was Buggy Land. I mean, they were all over the place. I had never seen anything like it because I grew up in Atlanta. There's not a big Amish community around Atlanta.
All right. So next we have Dial S for Santa. This on the 17th. Sarah Bugdale, Linda Boyd, Mark Humphrey, director David L. Strasser, writer Joni Kane, and Joelle Selner.
Mm-hmm.
And so why don't you tell us a little bit about this one?
So this
Great
is
title.
it's a great, like, I was again sold on the title. Like, I was like, say no more. I don't care what it's about. Dial S for Santa is hilarious, and I'm here for it. So it's about a girl. She's an insurance investigator. It's always kind of had the investigative bug. And she goes home for Christmas for the first time in a while, and there's a string of robberies. Like, her mom owns a store on Main Street. There's a string of robberies, and they're trying to figure out. And there's a Santa there who's who she's like, he's got like kind of that magical Santa quality. He's promising things to her young nephew, and she's like, you shouldn't be doing that. What if you're not the real Santa? And he's like, are you sure? So she's immediately suspicious. She's like, what? So she starts trying to figure out, and there's a police chief in town who's like, you have to stay out of this. And she's like, right. I'm not going to stay out of it. Does some investigating herself. And of course, they have some stakeouts together. They're trying to solve this crime. He eventually figures out that he's like, if you just help me, it'll be easier than me trying to tell you to stay away from it. So there's some fun like moments between them. He understands that she's very smart, and she's really trying to crack this case. And is it Santa? I won't tell. I'm not going to tell you if it's Santa or not.
Love it.
But it's a really nice, it's a fun mystery.
So who is the main romantic pairing in
the
movie?
Sarah Dugdale and Julian Haig will be your main romantic pairing. Mm-hmm. I was looking on IMDb, and he's kind of buried down in the cast list. Yeah, he plays the police chief, Nick.
He is buried down.
He's buried down in there. Yeah. So I get where that would be a little bit.
Yeah, because I was like, is it about Linda Boyd and Mark Humphrey, or because they're great, and Matt Hamilton is a favorite of mine. I love him.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I was doing a little. I was like, oh, it's he's down there, but yeah, that's your main romantic pairing. Although her mom is trying to fix her up with a couple of other guys in town, so.
As one does.
Where mom's like, you should stay in town.
Yeah.
It also has this really great hook with her nephew, whose father is on active duty, so he's not there, and he's really wanting his dad to come home, and she's trying to temper his expectations. But of course the Santa's like, you never know, Christmas miracles happen. So there's a fun little hook with her trying to, not be a curmudgeon to her nephew, but still like keep his expectations in check. So there's some sweet stuff there, and he's trying to figure out Santa as well. It's really cute.
So fun.
Yeah. And you can solve along, like you're trying to figure it out as we go along too. I'm sure you'll probably suss out who the villain is.
We need more Christmas mysteries. I don't know. They're so fun.
They are so fun. They're just a little bit different. They just,
something to like just a little wrench to throw into the lineup. It's just like, just do a Christmas cozy mystery. Yes.
Love a cozy mystery, right? They're so fun.
Yes. And the punny title. I'm like, this is perfect. On the 24th, we have a Christmas letter, which has Colin Mokry, David Lipper, Enrico Colantoni, and Glenda Brogzana, and it's directed by Brian Roberts and written by David Lipper. And this is like an epic love story, and it has like some adventure involved as well.
Yeah, it is. She takes in foster kids, our main character, and she finds out that they want to take her house away. There's a full-on mustache twirling evil. He doesn't have a mustache, but if he did, I promise you he would be twirling it like evil, like I will take your house from the orphans. Like, but he's doing it so over the top that it's delightful. You're like, yes, if you're gonna be evil.
Is that called Mockery?
That it actually is not. He plays Sandy Claus. But two of her kids decide that Santa can help them. So they have this mailman that comes and plays street hockey with them, and he tells them, like, of course we take all the letters to the North Pole straight to Santa's house. So they decide to hide in the mail truck as they're taking Santa's letters and go so they can save their home. And of course she and this lovely mailman have to go find the kids together. Then there's some romance going, but it is a little bit of an older romance, which I love. And it is really sweet. And Colin Mockery, people might recognize him from Whose Line Is It Anyway? He's a funny dude. He's such a funny guy. And Enrico, if you watch Veronica Mars, like I did.
It's a great cast. Roger Cross, dude.
Right?
I mean,
it's a great cast. It's a really good cast. We're really excited about that one. It is also a really fun, whimsical Christmas Eve story because you're going to Santa and, you have the magic of Christmas, and it just feels like this. Santa's coming. Let's go visit him. So I love it for Christmas Eve.
Well, and we've had David on the pod before, and so I'm definitely curious to see what he does as far as his writing. That's kind of fun.
Yeah. I think everybody's gonna love the lineup this year.
Very cool. Well, they're probably all your babies, so you can't pick a favorite, but do you have one that is your special favorite?
Oh my goodness. It's tough. I really love Country Hearts and Country Hearts Christmas just because it really has been over a year coming, and getting Chris involved, and the way the cast has come together, and the music in it is beautiful, and people are going to be able to download it, and you're going to want to because it's so good. So good. I just love everything about it. It looks beautiful, it sounds beautiful, and I think the dynamics in it are great. So that one that holds a real special place in my heart. That one's real close to me. But otherwise, I love Christmas Time Capsule and We're Scrooge. Like they're just so charming and so adorable. Like We're Scrooge has the moment that Sasha was like, I audibly gasped. Like, so it's good. Those are probably three of my favorites, but I think they're all great, and they all give you something different, and all give you something really, I think, special. I think everyone's going to walk away with something really different from each movie and really enjoy it.
Well, that's what's fun, I think, and about Up is like, I think of last year, I loved Christmas Lucky Charms. The Tiny Home Christmas one, adorable. Like those just special ones that it's like, even like later, you still think about it.
Oh my gosh, and also Rebecca Dalton with the most like sweetest person on earth. She's so sweet, charming. Yeah, those are both really great.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, and thank you so much
Yes.
for coming on, talking with us. We always look forward to it, and we'll look forward to Mixed Baggage 2 coming up in 2024.
I will put in a call next week and make sure they know Rachel needs Mixed Baggage 2.
She does. Give us
Honestly, I think you know what? For next year, let's work on Mixed Baggage 2 and Santa's Got Style Part 2. What's better than one sexy Santa? We'll put it out there.
It can become a Canadian phenomenon, and then all the department stores are doing it.
It should become an American phenomenon.
Yes. Well, thanks so much. And I guess people want to follow up social media, all that fun stuff.
Yep. And we have the My UpTV Movies app where you can go in and like tag which ones you want to watch, gives you reminders, you can make a watch list. We have lots of fun coming on this Christmas season, not just these 8, but everything you loved about last year. You'll see it all again this year.
Can't wait.
Well, I hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas.
Thank you,
Crissie.